What's happening, guys? Members only. Sunday, July 1st. Wanted to get on here early and get this out for you guys so we weren't rushed for time in the morning. Full write out and stuff will be out normal time, perhaps early tomorrow morning. But just wanted to get on here and do members only for you guys. So night slate is going okay for right now. St. Louis came through with some nice bottom of the ninth garbage runs. Marquez and Sale were really nice. Hopefully, the Sam Fran Bass can do a little. The Crawford homer was huge. So looking ahead, and let me screen share this to tomorrow. Interesting pitching slate we have yet again. So starting at the top here, Charlie Morton coming off perhaps his best game of the year, or no, one of his best games of the year. He had dominated Texas a couple times, including that 43, but he dropped 42 against the Blue Jays on a spot where no one went to him because Kluber and who is the other guy? And Severino were in play that night, and Severino was chalky, and Kluber bombed, and Morton was the bomb. So I don't hate going back to Morton here because of our other options, but Tampa looks decent right now. They obviously got to Verlander today. Cole wasn't that great yesterday by any means, so I get Morton here because I think people will probably be scared off. But I think in cash games, I think Peralta's the guy you start with, and I don't think you need to spend up all the way on Morton. Blake Snell, he's intriguing here. It's definitely hard to go against this Houston team on the road, especially with a lefty because they're so, right-handed heavy with those power guys. But they're not swinging great bats right now, and Snell is just really good, and he pitches well against really good teams. So I don't hate Snell in tournaments either, especially because I like the fate of Peralta. Hap, no thank you anywhere. I like Detroit bats against lefties. I'm not going to go hard on them on this slate, but I like Castellanos way more than I like Hap here. Freddie Peralta, all right, he's the guy we got to talk about on this slate. I think you play him in cash because he's been awesome in 3 of 4 starts. I mean, in 3 of 4 starts, he's been the top 3 pitcher in baseball. So will that continue? No, but he's not priced like that yet. He's expensive, but for that upside and how popular he's going to be in cash games, I think you play him. Now, GPP is the same argument holds. He's young. He's not going to pitch like that, certainly not every game. When he's off, he gets wild. He can walk guys. I don't think that fading him in tournaments is a bad way to go here. I know it didn't pay off last time, but I think you just got to stick to your guns and realize that, until he consistently does this, that he's not going to be that. He wasn't this guy in the minor leagues. He was very good, but he wasn't throwing up performances like this every day. So why would we expect that to continue at the major league level? It's not. It could continue tomorrow. Who knows? But I'll fade it in tournaments. You play him in cash. Here's Fulte. He is a fine option here. Since that dominating game he had against Washington, I know he was hurt a little bit. He didn't look great against the Reds. I know his ERA is minuscule. I don't love him here. I think he's a tournament pivot off of Peralta. I know St. Louis is really right-handed heavy. I just struggle going there in the heat. I don't hate it at all, but I think it's in play. It's a play here. I could have more interest in the morning. Cole Hamels, it's tough to do it here. The White Sox are bad. That's the argument for Hamels. It's tough to go with Hamels here. Again, in another serious hitting environment, in Arlington, which I'm sure is going to be really, really hot again tomorrow. So it's definitely tough to go with Cole Hamels. But again, a lot of these options are less than intriguing because a lot of good hitting spots here. So a lot of these guys are in play because of that reason. John Lester, talk about hitting environments. Ryan, we just made the public video, and all his bats come from this game because of the winds and how hot it's going to be. It's going to be about 100 there tomorrow with heavy wind blowing out. If you've seen any of the series, I mean, the scores in the past 2 games have been 14-9 and 10-6. The ball's flying out there. So this game makes a ton of sense in cash games. But you give me 2 guys that are way better options than John Lester on this slate, and I'd love to hear it, price considered. Gio Gonzalez, he's just been awful recently. I mean, it's going to turn around at some point, but no thank you. All right, there we go. I don't know what that was about. Where were we? All right, Gaussman. So he's a fine option here. I don't love him, but he's cheap enough for this slate. I think he's going to get you around 15 to 20 DK points, and I'll take that here. Do I love him? No. Will I take it? Sure. Zimmerman, no thank you. Lynn, hell no. John Gant pitched really well against Cleveland, but so did Blackburn and Edwin Jackson. So no. No. No to Arrieta because he's just not very good. Ronaldo Lopez, no thank you. A lot of less than desirable options here, and there's no chance on these bottom guys. Although I don't hate Straley at all. I don't hate Straley at all here. He's way too cheap for this slate. I think Straley's definitely a guy you got to look at here. The Mets are bad. There's a reason we went with that young kid today against them, and he threw up 20. I think Straley is. I like Straley to score more points than all the guys. Man, dollar for dollar, Straley's easily my favorite pitcher on this slate here, facing a horrible Mets offense. So gives you a lot of room to go wherever you want. I think in cash you go Peralta, Straley. I think in GBPs you go Snell, Straley. Any of the guys we talked about. You know what? Going right to the other side of this game, Steven Matz firmly in play. I think you can pitcher stack this game. So there's a couple cheaper options that I have interest in. I think Matz will get a ton of love here against Miami. He'll be the cheap guy that people go to. I think both are firmly in play, and that makes for a lot easier roster construction than messing with any of these guys in the middle. I think it breaks out pretty simple. These are your two cheap guys, Matz and Straley. In cash, you go Peralta and one of these guys. In GBPs, you go anyone you want up here and one of these guys or both these guys. All right, looking at catcher, I know for Ryan's sake, you want as much exposure to the Twins-Cubs game as you can get. So, Wilson Contreras at only 3.8 here. He's firmly in play. He had 9 today in a bad game. He's firmly in play as the guy that you can just lock in at 3.8. GBP, I know Ramos had an amazing game today, but I'm not necessarily interested in going back there. Hicks homer today facing a lefty. He's in play. I don't want to go too heavy on Tigers, but I'm interested in a couple of their righty bats for tournament purposes. And then, as always, we'll look deeper. Is Kevin Smith going to be in the lineup tomorrow? Hopefully, he's in play for sure. Perhaps batting fifth. Both, the other Detroit guy, McCann. Again, we got to wait for lineups for catcher. Hopefully someone comes out that's in a decent batting spot or someone that's really, really cheap that's in the Sunday lineup. Those 3K guys. I think that Kevin Smith makes a lot of sense here. Just catching right, Narvaez. Narvaez catching right. Kevin Smith should be in there tomorrow. I think he's the cheap cash guy you go to. First is pretty simple to us. There's two guys. One for cash, one for GPP. In cash, the guy you want is Anthony Rizzo at 4.8. You just want as much exposure to this game. It's really hard to fade him in cash. Lance Lynn gives it up to lefties. Bad spot for Lynn. Bad spot for all pitching in this game. Lock Rizzo in cash. I just got to give a shout out to this guy who's been awesome in this series. Awesome for Joe Mauer's sake. He had 44 points in this series. I wouldn't play him lefty on lefty, but big props to you. The guy that I would play in tournaments is going to be Justin Smoke. All righty. So, homers in back-to-back games. Walk-off home run today. Starting to get it going. We know who this guy is. Ton of power. Hit a lot of home runs last year. I'm about it in tournaments here, and this gives me the one-off I like from Blue Jays side. All right, looking at second base. Man, Matt Carpenter keeps getting more expensive. He's even more than Altuve. That's crazy. I think, again, the guy you lock in at either second or short, well, not necessarily because there's other guys in other parts of this game you can go to, but Javier Baez, who is just – check the game logs. Look at what he's doing. He just – not much more really needs to be said. 87 DK points in his last 4 games. I mean, it's pretty impressive. It's just really hard to spend this much on Carpenter with those other options. And I get it in tournaments, but still no thank you. Scooter, I think he's fine in tournaments. If you want a one-off against Peralta, I don't hate that. Did not work out last week against the Royals, but that's the Royals. I think you got to look at Dozier here too, because you got to get some Twins exposure. Facing the lefty with pop-outs going out for home runs, he's in play. Odor from the White Sox Texas game is firmly in play. He's swinging a hot bat right now. I can get it on board with him for sure there. And let's see other guys that I'm looking at for tournament purposes. He can't hit lefties. And then we have Matt Harvey, in Milwaukee or facing Milwaukee and Cincy. So, of course, those Brewer guys, are firmly in play. But with Rizzo's in such a good spot, the Brewers guys actually make more sense in tournaments. So I just want to head back to first base so we didn't forget. Thames, hard to say he's not in a crush spot against Matt Harvey here. So just want to put that out there. Again, it's short. I don't love second, here. So I'd like to spend down depending on lineups. VR if he's in the lineup. This Jace Peterson against this Deck McGuire, who how's he been doing recently? He hasn't even been playing. This Deck McGuire is not very good. So Baltimore exposure, although we don't love it because they suck, is in play. This guy, Alex Blandino for the Reds, is awful. He strikes out almost every time he's at bat. Watch him homer tomorrow, but just wanted to call that out. 1 second, guys. All righty, sorry about that. Back with you. All right, so second's kind of weak here. Got to wait for Linus to come out. Again, I kind of like that VR call because he's cheap against Harvey. He hasn't been very good, but this is a nice spot for him to break out. Hopefully he's in the lineup. I could really see him making the Sunday lineup tomorrow, getting him some TT. All right, third base. Bregman back at today with a home run. I like Snell, but don't hate this one-off either. He's homered in 2 straight again. I mean, this guy's just put together quite a week. So firmly on board as a one-off. Rendon's playing some good ball, homered again tonight, so I can get it. Again, this is probably where you want some Twins exposure if you can get it with Escobar. We missed a guy at second who just third also, and that's going to be La Stella. He's not very good, but if he gets a good lineup spot tomorrow at 2-6, I mean, you have to play him in cash games. At 2-6, you have to. And he just opens up so many things in your roster. In GBPs, he's firmly in play as well. He's also third base eligible, so I wanted to bring that up. Alrighty, another lefty against Matt Harvey. He didn't do it today, but again, showed more signs with the game logs I haven't up yet, but at least took 2 walks. I want to say he had more than that. So the big game's coming there with Shaw. Don't hate the Tigers bats again. Watch out for the Tigers tomorrow in play. Brandon Anderson against the lefty, homer today off DeGrom. Sure, even though we like Matt, so get on board with the one-off there. It's hard. I want Baltimore exposure, but from where? They suck. I don't want to spend that much for Machado. I'll pass. If they blow up, they blow up. Baltimore's one of those. I see the stack and it makes sense, but who am I trying to stack there? I get it. The Trumbos, Chris Davis, Machados. I'll probably go elsewhere, but I might wake up and realize I really want to go there. I won't lie. Can't lie to you guys. I will say I doubt I end up going heavy Baltimore, though. They've let me down one too many times. Let's just put it that way. Speaking of Baltimore, their top piece, Machado. Yeah, if you're going there, he's firmly in play. One off, whatever you want to do with him. He had been playing really good ball, cooled off a little bit. Not sure exactly what he did today. Let's check it out. All right. He 1 for 5, so nothing special. Simmons has been really good recently. I think he's in play. Russell, if you want to get, Cubs exposure there. And the cheaper guy I know Ryan likes, which makes a lot of sense, is Ahiri Adrianza. Just 3K in this great hitting environment. Who knows what the lineup spot will be tomorrow with Eddie Rosario possibly missing the game. For him in play, again, in cash games, you want as much exposure to this game as you can get, both sides. Even though Lester's good, you want a couple Twins pieces. He's a good, cheap one. Obviously the Cubs are in a much more desirable spot. Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, the Cubs lefties, besides that, we want a lot of. So that's where it is. One of my favorite bats, even in tournaments, is from the Cubs, and it's hard to get away from this guy in my eyes. So we'll get to him in a second. I don't think the Nationals are crazy. They're starting to, really turn it on. Yesterday was a good example of that. I know tonight they didn't do quite as well. They only scored twice. Rendon went yard. Turner didn't do anything. So, yeah, yesterday might have been an anomaly. They are better than they've played this year, but until we see it consistently, it's hard to, stack them again. I know they won people a lot of cash who played them last night. But, that's going to happen in baseball. Teams are going to go off like that. It's hard to expect them to do it again. I think Tim Anderson is firmly in play here. I know we've rocked him a bunch recently. He's just a really good power speed guy, and that's what you want in DK. I got another one where Javier Baez, if you're not playing him at second, you play him at short. I do think Adrianza makes a ton of sense in either format, depending on where his lineup spot is. Alrighty, outfield. Yeah, it's Mike Trout. He's firmly in play. He's pretty good, huh? Reese Hoskins do anything today? No. Hoskins is still firmly in play because Gio looks bad right now. Angel's got going a little bit. I don't mind Gausman, but he's still not very good. So, yeah, you want to play Mike Trout. I can sign up for it because he's just awesome. Again, we get to the, lefties here. I think Thames, if you're playing Rizzo or Smoke at first, if you want to go Thames in the outfield, go for it. Interested to see Harper's BVP. All right, Harper BVP. He's only 4 of 17, no home runs, so not as interested there. Rosario's probably out. Springer, thought he might get going today after the day off. Don't love him tomorrow against Snell, I'm not going to lie. Nomar Mazara, he looks good right now. Play him if you want to go some Texas. Texas is appealing here for sure. A guy I love that I brought up on the public video and that I'm going to lock in my lineups is going to be Nick Castellanos. So for me, outfield is tough because there's two guys I'm locking in right away, and Castellanos is one of them. Mash is lefties. I think this is a breakout spot for Detroit. Haps pitched above his head this year. He's good, don't get me wrong, but he's not that good. I like some Detroit righties here, namely Castellanos. I'm not going to stack Detroit here, but I will have heavy exposure to Castellanos on this slate. Markakis, huge grand slam today. I don't hate a couple Braves lefties against Gant to firmly in play. Soto, the GOAT. You want to play Soto? You'll never hear me argue with it. He's just damn good. He's cooled off. Don't hate the Blue Jays, but not probably going to go there. Kyle Schwarber is firmly in play. He's one of those Cubs lefties we talked about. The power upside's real tomorrow with Schwarber. If he hits a couple pop-ups, they could go out. So, yeah, he is in play. I think I'd rather play Markakis. You see, Markakis is the one that hit the grand slam. Yep. All righty. Acuna went yard today and had a double and multiple other, good things happen. So don't hate going there either. He's just more talented than the other guys because he's just that good. That's no knock against, anyone on, well, I don't want to go that far, but I mean, this kid's good. The Soto versus Acuna comparison is going to be a legit one for a while. Again, you want to use Baltimore. Trumbo is a fine piece. The guy after Castellanos that I like a lot is coming up soon. And that's going to be Jason Hayward. I love him here. I'm sure he's going to be popular, but he's like my favorite piece of the Cubs. He looks like a new man. He looks like the Hayward from the Braves. Really locked in at the plate. Swing looks awesome right now. Profiles really well against Lynn here. I'm definitely having a lot of exposure to Hayward. You could almost lock Hayward and Castellanos into my outfield spots. All righty. Abby Garcia, sure. Firmly in play. Let's see if he just did something. Nope. Both Garcias are 0 for 6 combined. Okay. Randall Grichuk. Homered again today. Don't hate it. Don't hate a couple of those Blue Jays guys. They're hopping off the page at me. Ian Happ. Give me some Ian Happ. Ozuna's just way too cheap. I know he hasn't been good recently, but he's just better than the guys on this page right here. I mean, Phil Irvin's more expensive than Marcell Ozuna. Same price. That's insane. Keon Broxton, who's played 2 games, is more expensive. I mean, no. I know Broxton at 44, but no. And there's a couple Baltimore guys that are in play. Guys are kind of expensive here, so I don't know what happened there. Alrighty. Sorry about that, guys. No idea. All right, looking down. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, back with you. Outfield gets weak real quickly. Just gets weak really, really quickly. So it's a mid-tier spend-up spot for me. I'm going to use a lot of Castellanos, and I'm going to use a lot of Hayward. You want more exposure to the Cubs. Schwarber firmly in play. It's just a really good spot to get exposure to. Great hitting spot there. So firmly with it. Again, we got to wait for lineups tomorrow. And, the write-up will be out normal time. Like I said, maybe a little bit early. But, again, we want lineups because some of these cheaper outfield guys, I mean, I'm still looking at this. Like, we just don't know because we don't know lineup spots. Like Jake Cave, Robbie Grossman, those guys are in play. Not Cave, he's a lefty, but Grossman for sure. So, yeah, I mean, we just got to wait and see. Altair, got to wait on lineup spots for these guys. So, you guys got the gist of who I like, who Ryan likes. And, again, write-up will be at normal time. I'll be around, all morning for questions and all that stuff. So, holler at me. Let's get this slate, guys. Hopefully the Giants can keep balling right now. Thanks.